Thank you for joining us. We were thinking of not talking, and we might not. This is unconditional love time. We're doing this only to radiate it out to you, Columbia. Hi, Terry from Littleton. This show is called AHA, which stands for Human Among Humans. I have a wonderful human in my arms. I get good karma. Her name is Sarah Brett, and we're going to be talking about love, healing, being comfortable in yourself. I had a friend who last died of brain cancer. It's like his dad, Richard Freed, and he would tell me, Michael, your only hope is to be comfortable with the fact that you're always going to be uncomfortable. And that helped, actually. I had to learn, okay, I'm uncomfortable, maybe I could be comfortable with that. But after many, many, many years, I'm 77 now. This is a young woman. She just turned 21. It's quite extraordinary how much she knows for a young woman. And I think I'm learning to be comfortable. And I'm going to first start, we'll always start, I once went to a therapist and he said, it's your mother. And I didn't know how, I thought he was kidding me, but he was really right. I mean, I thought, of course it's. So I have a poem. It's not even a song. I'd love you to read it first. Cold reading, August 13th.
I will cause breath to enter bones. Ezekiel. Hitting me repeatedly made painful ecstasy. Numb in mind and body. I crack glass when you're gone. Imagine breaking bones, moving us to scream, moan, till marrow's healing freeze, you to breeze, me to breathe.
Wow, I was trying to act it out. I'm going to read it one more time. It's about my beloved mother. It's from my book, Verse to Better, a poem for each day of our year. You can just get a look at it at Harvard Bookstore. It's in the window. You could go in and read some poems. One for each day of the year. This is from Ezekiel. I will cause breath to enter bones. I won't hit you. Hitting me repeatedly made painful ecstasy. Numb in body and mind. I crack glass when you're gone. Imagine breaking bones, moving us to scream, moan, till marrow's healing freeze, you to breeze. Me to breathe. That was a poem for the day my mother died. When she died, I was working with my dance teacher, Patrick Crowley, who almost every session for 10 years, once a week, I would leave feeling healed. But when my mother died, I told him I wanted to break something. And he said, just take this, I had something I could hit pillows. Take this pillow and hit the couch. Bam! Bam! And it didn't help. And he leaves, and I somehow know to do this. I get a hammer, put a glass in a pot, and take the hammer and go, pow! And break the glass, and I feel better. Fortunately, you're on the show to explain why I feel better.
A release.
And why didn't the release happen when I was just hitting up the chair with a pillow?
You wanted the auditory. You wanted to hear more of the shatter and
the glass.
You wanted it to be more dramatic.
My anger needed to really break something for real, and not just play. I mean, it was play to break the glass, and then I feel okay. My mother used to hit me when I was growing up repeatedly, especially if I was sitting on my younger brother's arms and spitting in his face. She didn't like that, but she would hit me all the time for anything. And I got numb and had no feeling. I would touch a woman or anybody and no feeling at all, which was scary, and no feeling period. I decide in my late 30s, my mother would be angry about, and also verbally abusive. She'd tell my brother while they were having breakfast, Dunkin' Donuts, "You're eating poison. Hydrogenated vegetable oil is poison. You're putting poison in your veins and your children's veins right now." Which actually was true, but it made for a very difficult breakfast for my brother and family. So I decide, having experienced so many times like this, I tell my mother, "Mom, I need a space. I'm not going to talk to you for 4 years." I figured freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, I was just a student kind of person. And I didn't. And I meet my wife during this time. Wow, without my mother interfering, although she eventually did, alas. But I at least meet my wife during this time, my wife-to-be. And at the end of the 4 years, just before I was going to call her, my father calls and says, "Your mom just had a heart attack. Call her." So I do. And after she recovers, I invite her to Cambridge, get an apartment for her for the summer. I mean, she has the money to pay for it. Walk with her into the apartment, just having met her at the airport, take her. She looks in the refrigerator and says, "There's no food in the refrigerator. What kind of host are you? I came all the way from New Jersey. You don't have any food in the refrigerator at all? That's how a son treats his mother?" This is after 4 years. Our first day together. I have learned something, however. And I say, Mom, could we please talk to each other now that we're getting to know each other again more kindly? And my mother says, "You're Hitler! You're Hitler! You're trying to control how I talk? What is wrong with you? Hitler killed 6 million Jews. You don't have to be like Hitler." I'm actually not exaggerating. Yes. So I say, I've learned not to join in, because there's nothing that makes my mother happier than to have two people, someone else as unhappy and as she. I have learned a few things, and I say, Mom, I'm going to go home now. And when I come back in the morning, I want us to talk more kindly to each other. You're Hitler! Goodbye, Hitler! I come back in the morning, and my mother, for all of our life together, would love us to keep fighting. I hadn't joined the fight really, but...
She would love you and your mother, you and your brother,
No,
everyone.
me and her to keep fighting. She doesn't want to be miserable all by herself. If I can start screaming too, then we can scream at each other and whatever. She won't be alone with her demons. But I come back in the morning, and remember, I have not talked to her for 4 years. And she knows this. And she knows not only won't I join fighting with her, so I won't even talk with her in any way at all if she doesn't mend her ways. And this was really my father's job, but he never did it. To take care of his son and stop his wife from torturing his son, really traumatizing his son. But I walk in and I say, Mom, are we ready to talk to each other more kindly? And she knows if she doesn't, there might be another 4 years of me not talking to her. And that threat, I didn't say it, but that threat is so powerful that she says, I think we should talk more kindly to each other. And for the rest of our life, I could see her as I drove her from this apartment to just take a walk down by the river. I could see her literally biting her tongue.
Wow. Wow.
To not want to be left. She was adopted as a child, so being abandoned was... So that worked.
Wow. Did she ever look into her family and her history?
She tried, but she wouldn't spend enough money to really. So that's, why don't we just one more time this poem, maybe that helps make it a little bit more understandable.
I will cause breath to enter bones, hitting me repeatedly made painful ecstasy. Numb in mind and body, I crack glass when you're gone. Imagine breaking bones, moving us to scream, moan, till marrows healing freeze, you to breeze, me to breathe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any thoughts, feelings, questions, answers?
Till marrows healing freeze.
I think I started healing in my marrow which makes all the white blood corpuscles.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was, I think, free to die, free to breathe, free to go into the wind, the breeze.
And you too.
And I could breathe.
I like the visuals.
Mm. So our theme, one of our themes, we have two themes really. Being ourselves, and they're very connected.
Mm-hmm.
Being ourself, so we can be a free spirit. The more we are funny,
Mm-hmm.
the more we are just ourselves, the more we're free.
Mm-hmm.
We go with the breeze and breathe, yes. I have another one. Yes, I want you to interrupt anytime you want to. I think I thought I marked it. Yes, you
Yes.
yes. Okay.
June. Couple June dates.
June 30th. Wow. This is called Bad Love. It was the first song I ever wrote. It's about our theme. So, an old college friend from the University of Chicago visits me. I haven't seen him in many, many years. I invited him into my kitchen with his new wife, remarried. And I feel so shaky and so comparative. He has this is his second wife. He has grown-up kids. He owns a home. He's a professor emeritus. And I think of myself as adjunct faculty, divorced, no children. And so I don't want to do this, but I'm comparing myself to him. And really shake. I think trying to keep it under control when he's there. And then I go to my friend, Dr. Tuneup, Brucey, who goes around, he still will do it. You can look at Dr. Tuneup. Goes around to people's homes, changes oil, fixes things. I actually, when a friend of mine, a woman friend of mine, not too much older than who you are now, called me up and said, Mikey, do you know anyone who can fix my oil, change it? And I had just met Dr. Tuneup, didn't know him well. I'd been going out with a woman named Annie Friedman, and Dr. Tunup's mother, who had passed, was also named Annie Friedman.
Wow.
And maybe she had
Wow.
come into the spirit of my woman friend at the time, who's still a dear friend.
Mm-hmm.
And when my friend Elizabeth says, do you know someone who could help change, asking me, a poet and teacher, I don't know why she's asking me, but there's these energies that attract us to each other, and it's called synchronicity, and it means that we're radiating and receiving energies way beyond our understanding. It's like gravity.
Mm-hmm.
It pulls us together.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe Brucey's mother, Annie Friedman, somehow gets Annie Friedman to introduce Brucey to me. And who knows why Elizabeth is calling me for oil change advice. So I send over Brucey. He fixes his, changes her oil, chats for about an hour. He's a chatter, and leaves, and then comes back and asks for her if he could go out with her to dinner sometime. And they do. And at the dinner they make their first rule. He orders veal, and she's an environmentalist and doesn't like these little calves being taken from their mother. and she goes out for a smoke, and he does not like that. So they make a deal, which they kind of kept sometimes. No veal and no smoking. They still cheated.
Mm-hmm. I'm amazed they made it to the second date.
Yeah, they did.
That is two open-minded people.
They're still together.
I love it.
It has not been easy. But I knew Elizabeth's mother remarried a man who loved Tarzan.
Mm-hmm.
Loved Tarzan and was a wonderful second husband to her mother. Helped her mother die. It was right there for her. And I knew Elizabeth would meet a Tarzan.
Mm.
And that was... And my friend Brucey has the strongest, talking about anger, we were talking before the show in the green room, or above the green room. He was the angriest person I've ever met.
The veal eater.
The veal eater.
Mm-hmm.
After just knowing me a few months, he said, I'd like to get to spend more time with you. And I said, I would love to too, but I need to write all day. I'm a writer. And he said, what kind of answer is that? I want to be your friend. Friends don't say stuff like that. And I felt like I was kicked in the stomach in a way that I'd never felt before.
Wow.
But I stuck to my guns. I said, oh, well, I sort of like to get to know you, but every day I try to write, so days are not free. So Brucey could get to me in a way no one else ever could.
Wow. What does that mean?
Get to me?
Yeah.
It felt like his words go right through any defenses I have.
I've had that experience, but I wonder what it means when there's one or two people that can really get inside you with their emotions, but other people haven't been able to.
Yeah, well, for Brucey it was just volume.
Yeah.
Volume of anger. He is, well, we won't say more.
Mm-hmm.
And so we still become friends. I love, he's for my mind, a real man. He knows how to change oil,
Mm-hmm.
not write poems about, hitting, breaking glass. And he can do stuff, not just write poems. So I come to him after my friend Robert Strand visits and makes me feel literally shake. I'm shaking in front of Brucey. I'm just letting it out. And I tell him why. And to him, I'm a professor. I teach, I write poetry, and to him, he's just a mechanic, not even have a place to work, really. And to me, he's a real man. And he says, Mikey, I didn't know you compared yourself to people too. I didn't know, and feel bad about it. Mikey, and then he says, Mikey, how bad can you be if I love you? And Brucey gets through. A lot of people can say, I love you. But Brucey gets through because he says it the way he talks to me. And he had already made a channel inside with his anger. And I say, Brucey, that sounds like a song. And he says, Mikey, go write it. And so I wrote my first song. I'm going to sing it for you now. We just have about 3 minutes, a little less. It's called Bad Love. How bad can I be if you love me? How bad can I be if you care? How bad can I be if you love me? And it feels like we're walking on air. I lost all my friends and my family. I lost all my money and home. But how bad can I be if you love me, even if I'm all alone? How bad can you be if I love you?
Bad.
How bad can you be if I care? How bad can you be if I love you? And it feels like we're walking on air.